Hudson County View Live and Uncut. I'm your host. We're the guy that eats T-bone steaks, lifts barbell plates, and still has a demeanor that's sweeter than a chocolate cake, John Arhitis. And we're going to talk the latest and greatest in Hudson County news. So, first of all, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in these county primaries. County commissioner and county executive obviously are going to be on the ballot in June. So, for the time being, we have a few challengers emerging. First off, we heard from Adrian Gonda. He's a progressive Democrat of Hudson County member, and he's worked on a number of progressive efforts throughout the past few years. He's going to be challenging in the 2nd District, which is, of course, County Commissioner Bill O'Day. We don't know yet whether or not he'll be seeking re-election or running for that state Senate seat in the 31st, but either way, we have Adrian entering the fold. And also, we heard last week that Mamta Singh, who is the executive director of JC Families, coming out to challenge Uriah Ponte-Lipsky, and that's the 4th District. So we're going to, tell you a little bit about what they have planned. And on that point, you guys probably know in the 5th District, we have Ron Batista challenging Commissioner Anthony Romano again. And of course, we have Eliana Little challenging for county executive. So it looks like we have a full-fledged progressive slate on their way. So with that, let's head up north a little bit. Of course, the big election before the primary is in West New York, where we have former Congressman Albio Series. He has yet to unveil his slate. But we also are expecting another former mayor, and that's Felix Roque, to jump out in front of it on Thursday. He's having an event in Las Palmas. Seems like a foregone conclusion. He'll be announcing his bid for mayor again. And of course, we know that Public Affairs Commissioner Cosmo Cirillo is heading a ticket called West New York Forward, and they just unveiled their 4th candidate today. They're the furthest along, of course, out of those 3 tickets. And you guys know, we talked about last week, the Hudson County Democratic Organization was joined by a number of leaders across the state to endorse their candidates in the 32nd and 33rd legislative districts. And today, I'm fortunate to be joined by my Assemblyman, that's Raj Mukherji. So all that and probably a little bit more right after this word from our sponsors.
The Ford Maverick is a smaller truck, but the available 2.0-liter EcoBoost engine has plenty of horsepower and torque and allows you to tow all kinds of stuff. And if you need to take the Maverick out past city limits, there's select drive modes to take on different terrains, as well as the FX4 off-road package with all-wheel drive.
Hudson County View Live and Uncut, John Arhitis.
The Ford Maverick is a small...
Joined with Assemblyman Raj Mukherji. Assemblyman, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, of course. Good to be here.
All right.
You got to go through the chocolate cake line 3 times fast after the show. But
so look, I mean, I mentioned that as you're well aware, not too long ago, the HCDO rolled out their endorsements. Of course, you are going to be running for the state Senate in the new 32nd legislative district. So just tell us, look, things are looking pretty good. I mean, you got Governor Murphy, Senator Scutari, Senator Booker, and of course the HCDO, so things are off to a pretty good start, I would say. But how are you feeling heading into this race?
I've learned from Brian Stack that you run every race like you're 20 points behind. The old adage was you run every race like you're 20 points behind or unopposed. But even when you're unopposed in Union City, you're running against voter apathy. So we are going to knock doors. We are going to do mail. We're going to disseminate the message and introduce my running mates to the district. Also, because of redistricting, there are parts of Jersey City that have never seen me on the ballot, even though I've run for 5 consecutive terms in other parts of the city, that I have to introduce myself to. People don't generally know, unless you're paying attention to the political process, they don't generally know who their state legislators are.
Sure.
Name ID isn't that high in that job. So even if you're in leadership or have a good track record of being effective, so we're going to work hard, and hopefully the voters will give me an opportunity to return to the legislature, serve in the Senate. But if they don't, the last 10 years have been the privilege of my lifetime.
All right, so when you're talking to those new voters in, let's say, the Journal Square area, let's say the downtown area that, like you said, you haven't represented previously, what would be your message to them, or what do you plan on telling them at the doors?
Sure. Well, I think I'm able to point to 5 terms of consistent outcomes. I've served on the budget committee for 80% of my tenure in the legislature. I presently serve as the chair of the Judiciary Committee and vice chair of appropriations. I've also held positions in leadership as majority whip and deputy speaker, and I have leveraged these roles to bring back hundreds of millions of dollars to Hudson County, to Jersey City, to Hoboken, to my district, particularly in the last couple of fiscal year cycles where all the federal money was available and the state was figuring out how to triage and how to dole it out. We've brought that back to these cities in a way that I think our constituents can see the impact of it. We are a very responsive legislative office, district office. When constituents have unemployment claims, Medicaid denials, issues with state agencies, or even at other layers of government, local or federal, we follow up, we're diligent about it, and I think I've been a zealous advocate for my constituents. I'm working on a few things that I think lead me to say there's a lot of unfinished business on housing affordability, college affordability, how we fund public education and the unfairness to urban communities as we're getting away from the Abbott versus Burke philosophy. Right now, New Jersey Transit is working on the new bus initiative in Hudson County, where they're going to completely redesign. They're going to assess the current routes, ridership, and all that, all the other things, and redesign bus service and mass transit in Hudson County as we know it.
So let me jump in.
Yep, sure.
So yeah, you bring up two topics that I know a lot of people constantly talking to me about, and I've spoke with Mayor Fulop, the Board of Ed Trustees. So school funding, of course, has been a problem in this district for probably longer than we can remember at this point.
Right.
But is there anything from your point of view that you could do anything about here?
Well, the one thing we can do is, because since we got a reprieve because of language in the Federal Appropriations Act, but we have had a few years to plan for, unfortunately, an unprecedented drop in funding. And one of the things we did to try to mitigate the impact, the severity of that hit to Jersey City taxpayers was the enactment of the payroll tax at the municipal level, which cities like Jersey City and Newark can opt into. And what I think the city has had a hard time doing is, collecting, because employers aren't already registering and filing quarterly payroll tax statements like they do with the state and with the IRS. So getting statutorily the authority for the Department of Labor to share their data so that the city can better collect payroll tax revenues that it's owed is one thing. Now, it doesn't look promising to change the formula. I mean, urban legislators have faced tremendous opposition when we have suggested going back in the other direction, but that is something we'll continue to fight to do, and maybe get some assistance through appropriations for CapEx projects and things like that. But at the end of the day, the school board, I think, is going to have to tighten its reins as it forecasts ahead, and our way of helping as state lawmakers is during the budget process trying to get the city assistance from the state and leveraging federal dollars in other areas that can help offset the rising cost of, for example, health insurance premiums for the city's workforce.
Right.
is
Point taken, Assemblyman. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut. John Arhitis, and I'm still here with Assemblyman Raj Mukherji. So, Assemblyman, you also brought up NJ Transit. Obviously, this is an issue that is a big deal in Jersey City and Hoboken, too. A lot of people, as you know, don't own cars. It's anywhere from like the 30 to 40% range, I believe. But anyway, so when we're talking NJ Transit, I mean, I see on social media every day, hey, the bus is late, the train is late, the bus never came. So you were getting into that. But what's anything you could do as a legislator to improve that and hold NJ Transit accountable?
One of my key objectives over the next couple of budget cycles, because we have a great governor who believes in public transit. So on this issue, I would love to be able to try to negotiate with my colleagues and with the executive branch a more permanent, dedicated, recurring source for mass transit funding, which is something you see in other jurisdictions. But New Jersey Transit got a lot of money from ARPA and as a consequence of all of the pandemic funding made available by the federal government. But they weren't busy during that time. And then as commuters started to return, they weren't ready. The debacle with Academy literally defrauding the taxpayers of our state and the commuters and falsifying records about missed trips and everything like that. And then Coach trying to step up. And I think it was a really good decision of New Jersey Transit to take over that route in the Heights. I think they listened to us about creating an express route, which we had suggested breaking up the 119 so that you would have a departure from Journal Square directly into the city and then another route from Bayonne. But they've created an express route. So they've taken some of our advice. The president of New Jersey Transit, Kevin Corbett, has come up to Jersey City himself a couple of times. We've had other roundtables with his senior staff. They've taken back the feedback, and unlike New Jersey Transit administrations of the past, where I was very critical, and I remain so, this administration actually has done things that we've asked them to do, as evidenced by the articulated buses. Hudson County got a disproportionate number of the accordion buses, which we'd been suggesting for a while, when they procured a new fleet of those for the state. And I think as they continue to expand service, we have to look at off-peak service also, whether the app is being updated, why buses are full and driving by stops and missing stops. Whatever problems they face in accommodating the demand and the ridership, because Hudson County, one of the most densely populated counties in the country,
Yep.
and I think something like 6 of the 10 most densely populated municipalities in the United States are in Hudson County.
That's right.
Let alone New Jersey. So whatever issues they're facing in terms of demand and ridership returning to pre-pandemic levels, it's going to get worse because of the thousands of units of housing in development right now in Jersey City.
Right, the people are going to keep coming. Yeah.
Exactly, and that demand's going to grow. They have to be nimble and prepared for it. We appreciate our collaboration with them on the Hoboken terminal redesign. Senator Stack and I.
I'm sorry, we're running short on time,
Sure.
so let me jump in. So before we go, we did want to talk about your running mates. It's actually an interesting ticket. You got 3 lawyers, which doesn't happen often, right?
Yeah.
And so tell us a little about Jess Ramirez and John Allen.
Not that we need more lawyers in government, but these two are, I think, really, really special candidates. So Jessica Ramirez, was a rural girl from Puerto Rico, and the first in her family to attend law school. But she serves on the planning board in Jersey City. Her career in the legal profession, I think, is really interesting. She's always felt this call to service. She was the managing attorney of the Immigration Project at Catholic Charities. She was a contract attorney serving the Office of Public Defender. In solo practice, she's represented immigrants. She represents consumers in class action litigation and victims of sexual assault right now in her private practice. And John Allen similarly experienced a call to service. First in college, he was president of a school board when he lived at that time in Middlesex County. Became an attorney where his practice included a lot of representation of school boards and specialized in education law. He's served as a municipal prosecutor, as an assistant city attorney in Hoboken. He was chief of staff to Mayor Balla until he left the city's employment, and he helped steer Hoboken through the pandemic. So I think I'm really lucky that I think it's a coup that I was able to, attract talent like these two people to our ticket. And I think that they're going to be really detail-oriented legislators. They're progressive. Their ideological perspectives are very similar to mine. The same things drive them and the same things bother them. So I think together we're going to be able to do an effective job fighting for Hudson County.
All right, so briefly, before we let you go, so as you know, Second Ward Councilwoman Tiffany Fisher has taken umbrage with John Allen, a number of things that happened in the city while he was still employed there.
Yeah, he lives rent-free in her head.
So, be that as it may, there's at least one pending complaint. Do you have any reservations about this? And she's also, of course,
About John?
Yeah.
He is a salt of the earth guy. He and his wife were watching the news when President Trump, got elected to office, and they were so heartbroken by what this meant for our democracy that he literally cold called Mayor Balla and said, "How do I get involved?" And the things that drive him are, interestingly enough, not what you'd expect from a typical politician. John is not naturally or organically a politician. He's really more of a staffer or a policy wonk type. And he is a genuinely decent person. Does not chase the limelight. I had to talk him into running for office, putting his name on a ballot, and running for the legislature. And Mayor Balla, who he obviously has both mayors' complete confidence and unfettered support. Mayor Balla, who first approached him and recommended him for the spot, had to do the same. We had to persuade him to answer this call to service for the community.
Assemblyman, we're going to let you go on that note. Thank you for joining me.
John, thank you.
Very much a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Hudson County.
This thing ripped.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. So let's talk a little bit about Governor Phil Murphy and his State of the State address. That was last week. And we did fortunate actually to have one of my reporters there, that's Daniel Uloa, and he was actually in Trenton live for the speech, and he did a piece here that you guys may have seen talking about the Hudson County projects mentioned by the governor. So obviously about as topical gets. And, you know, he obviously talked about New Jersey that being a state of opportunity, building more opportunities, things of that nature, you know, gave a shout out to the Ukraine, a few other things about national issues, of course. But eventually we did get to some of our local projects like the Garden State Greenway. And you guys know probably that's 9 miles of abandoned railroad track bed from Montclair to Jersey City being turned into a linear park that will rival any of its kind. Dwarfing Manhattan's High Line, that's a quote from the governor. And he noted that the High Line is 4.5 miles in comparison. And, you know, he thanked the Department of Environmental Protection. He also talked about breaking ground on the Portal North Bridge in Kearney. You guys remember that happened in the summer. I believe that was in August. We saw U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg among many officials there, U.S. Senator Menendez, pretty much all the New Jersey delegation in the House. So yeah, it was quite a turnout. And that's a big deal because this is part of the Hudson River Tunnel Project. And because of the partnership with the state of New York, with Amtrak, and the White House, they've actually got $292 million federal dollars invested into this project. So, you know, obviously that's not a small amount, and that should hopefully go a long way. So those were the two big ones. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about reforming these liquor licenses. Obviously, that's been a story throughout the state ever since this speech. And basically, what this would do, according to the governor, is create 10,000 jobs a year and generate billions of dollars. And it's currently one liquor license per 3,000 residents, which is administered by each municipality. And they plan to gradually reduce this limit. And there will be a tax credit for restaurants that spent the money on a license. So that's obviously an interesting plan. And by the way, you remember that months ago, you saw the Jersey City Council the majority come out and talk about this craft brewery restrictions, and the governor actually mentioned that in his speech as well, and he said that they're going to end up repealing those. So obviously that's something of interest for people that are in that industry as well. And he also had a chance to speak with some of the legislators, including Assemblyman Mukherji, who obviously was just here. And, you know, they basically said that, I'll read you the quote, some of the discussions I've had with his office will be reflected in the budget proposals. So I don't want to get ahead of that out of respect for the discussions. Certainly mass transit and helping to stabilize Hudson County hospitals and higher ed are some of the discussions we're having. Not a surprise given the conversation we just had. So moving on, let's talk a little bit about these county races, this primary. So first, let's talk about Monta Singh. Now, she's going to be running, as I said at the top of the program, in the 4th District. So the county commissioner now is, of course, Uriah Ponte-Lipsky. And this is an interesting one because, you know, she's someone that's been in the community for quite a few years. A lot of people know JC Families, work with JC Families. You know, they just did a fundraiser, or was a sponsor of a fundraiser with the mayor probably about 2 to 3 months ago. So somebody that's been around, that's been active, and, you know, from what I'm told, is willing to work. So in her announcement, she said, I'm running for county commissioner because I believe that the people of District 4 deserve to live in a county that is affordable, safe, and resilient to the challenges the future holds. It would be an honor to serve the same community that allowed me to live out my own American dream. And I am eager to get to work to ensure Hudson County is a place where everyone can live and thrive. Now, probably not a surprise to many, but she's already come out and gotten the endorsement of Wardee Councilman James Solomon. He said, Monta Singh is an extraordinary leader. She's already done so much for families across Jersey City. And I'm so excited she's decided to run for county commissioner on a platform of lower taxes, affordable homes, and progressive values. So on that note, yesterday, We actually got an announcement from another member of the progressive group here in Jersey City. As I said, he's part of the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County. That's Adrian Gonda. He's just 24 years old, and he's a graduate student. And he's going to be jumping into the 2nd District race, whether or not Bill O'Day decides to seek re-election. A pretty bold move, but that's the move that he's made, so let's see where it goes. He said, I am running for county commissioner because our people deserve an option at the ballot box. We deserve to have the working class represented, not only by everyday people, but to also have our voices heard in every political process. So that's an interesting one. We're obviously, again, going to keep our eye on that race, and whatever happens in the 31st Legislative District, I imagine, would come in the next month. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this progressive ticket. My estimation, my prediction, is that they will run 10 candidates. We'll see how many of them can compete against the machine in this primary in June. Speaking of the machine, I guess, we're talking about Hudson County exec candidate Craig Guy. Just real quick, he named Florence Holmes as his campaign chair a few days ago. She's a community advocate that he's known since he was a police officer, the executive officer in the West District. And just real quick, he said, Florence and I met when I was serving as the executive officer in the West District in the Jersey City Police Department, and her neighborhood was part of my beat. From then on, I've admired her leadership and commitment to community organizing and activism. Her deep knowledge of Jersey City and its residents will be invaluable as we work to uplift every community within Hudson County. So we're going to take one more break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
This thing rips.
Oh, it is so quick. There's a lot of punch packed into this Bronco Sport. It's got a ton of horsepower. I love it. All right, now we're getting here. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Yeah. I like how we can get over or around almost anything.
Yeah, I dig your ride. I super dig it. It's gonna be a good day.
Growing up can be tough on kids. So much is going on in the world that can cause depression or anxiety. Unusual behavior for more than 6 months could mean they need help. Don't wait. For real-time mental health support and counseling, call New Jersey's Children's System of Care. CSOC offers free mental health supports, substance use treatment, and services for intellectual or developmental disabilities for all kids up to age 21. Call now, 1-877-652-7624.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John Arhitis. So a couple other items before we call it a day. Of course, a big one that we saw was New Jersey City University has named a new president. So we saw Andres Acebo. He was the executive vice president and university council. He just turned 37, and he is going to be the acting president moving forward, replacing Jason Kroll or succeeding Jason Kroll. So he said, I'm profoundly humbled and honored to accept the call to serve the community that raised me and shaped me. NJCU's mission is inextricably linked to my life. NJCU graduates educated me, nursed me, protected me, and championed me. This institution delivered for my friends and my family the promise of a better life, a promise that every day staff and faculty, students, and community leaders and stakeholders breathe life into. So we're not going to get into the particulars. We talked about NJCU extensively on this program, but I will say, you know, this is an interesting move. Jason Kroll made it very clear that once Sue Henderson retired at the beginning of the summer, that was about the end of June, he made it clear he was just going to be there as an interim. He wasn't going to stay long term. And apparently now Andres Acebo has made the same commitment. You know, I believe they said 90 days. I have to double check that, but he's, I'm sorry, that's going to be 24 months. I don't know why I thought 90 days, 24 months. And that's look, they have a lot of work cut out for them in the days coming, right? I mean, obviously, they've got a tens of millions of dollars shortfall. They're waiting for $10 million from the state, and they're already getting $30 million in the state budget. So, they have a lot of work ahead, but, best of luck to him and the university in the days coming forward. So now here's an interesting one out of Jersey City, and actually coming out of the U.S. Attorney's Office. So longtime Jersey City Attorney James Lisa got indicted on Thursday for defrauding clients out of over $2 million, dating back to a case that began in 2014. Now, that's a name that probably sounds familiar to you guys. I mean, James Lisa's been around for many decades, way before my time, and he's represented a lot of high-profile clients, including the infamous Newport Center Mall Easter Bunny back in 2016. You remember he got in a fist fight in the mall, and that was a case that got a whole lot of widespread national attention. Long story short, Lisa's charged by indictment with 3 counts of wire fraud and 4 counts of aggravated identity theft. He was arraigned before U.S. District Judge Jose R. Almonte. He pleaded not guilty and was released on a $100,000 unsecured bond. The long story short of this case is this, that he was hired by a family in 2014 to repatriate money that was given to an offshore account decades ago, and he got $6 million, but he told them he only got 4 and kept over $2 million in an account, according to those federal prosecutors. So this is going to be an interesting case to watch. We're going to stay on top of it every step of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me again this week. We'll see you next time.